Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, it's Chakra 5 time. I had a moment of silence just to see how you would feel about that because, I'll talk about that in the show. We're doing Chakra 5, and that's the throat chakra. I'm Reverend Dr. Kathleen Fennedy, your host for Your Best Do.
And I'm Joan Kazmarzik, your co-host.
So come on in,
Come on in.
If you've never been here before, welcome for the first time. And if you're a regular, we're getting ready to do a little set change, and the critters aren't here, so, got some things going on. So, Chakra 5. I know, the gazebo. You see, you get a lot of information on this show, I hope, but I also try to keep it very cozy, familiar, and friendly. And hopefully you're enjoying it. And I hope you're enjoying May, too. It's May 2022.
It is.
And how are you?
And how are you? Yes, exactly.
Yeah, no.
The past couple of days, you wouldn't think it was May.
No.
Felt more like November.
True.
So.
Absolutely. Yeah. But you like that cold weather.
Yeah, I do.
So.
But I don't like the damp cold. It was kind of that chilly to the bone cold. It wasn't just nice cold.
Well, I hope you're staying warm. I'm kind of removing the fire set. I'm getting ready for spring and the flowers and the gardening, as you know. So, yeah, it was chilly, though. I think we put a little bit of extra layers on.
That's for sure.
Chakra 5, what do you know about Chakra 5? Chakra 5 is blue. It's all about blue today. And blue, usually in the brightest of blues, because the spectrum is what?
For the Reggie bib? Well, just think of the rainbow.
Exactly. Just think of the rainbow. It's the Roy G. Biv. It's the rainbow. And it's within us. Okay? So we're all the rainbow. It's not exclusive to any specific movement or anything.
No,
I think
it's just
the rainbow lives within us. We have red, orange, yellow, green, and now we're on blue, which is the 5th chakra.
Right. So. It's just the beauty of nature. Because rainbows are part of nature too.
Mm-hmm.
My father loved rainbows.
We'll have to talk about that on the podcast. We're going to be doing a podcast coming up pretty soon. We'll talk about stories like that on the podcast for sure. Okay, so here's blue. I just started thinking about blue because you know me, I'm always going to think about this stuff,
Yeah.
So, it's such a beautiful day. The sky is so blue, and it's such a comforting color. The blue everywhere. Oh, what a wonderful blue day. And the sun is out and the skies are blue. So why are you so blue? Right? So just as with every one of our aspects, we have a lighter side and a darker side, or a positive side and a negative side. Even our atoms, are composed of this kind of
negatives,
charging aspect of that. And that's why opposite people actually do better together than getting someone who does the same thing that you do and lives the same life that you do. Or even an actor will say they have a better relationship with someone who's not in the industry. She likes to do artist painting or whatever, But I'm just saying, the opposite thing, there's something to that because it's what structured us all together. Because if we're all the same, it repels. But the opposite attracts.
Yeah, just think of two magnets.
Exactly. So with blue, and how blue are you? Blue, it's the color. It's, from the, that I feel so blue is being so sad, right? Well, out of the blue is even a different aspect of blue. It's not about the beautiful calming aspect of blue, and it's not about the sad aspect of blue, well, he came to my door out of the blue. Or it could be a good surprise. Or it could be a, oh my God, I got this letter and it's, came out of the blue. I didn't expect this. I found out the family member died, right? So, you see what I'm saying? I guess I'm just trying to have kind of a light chat, and I'm bouncing off of Joan, because that's what Joan, the role she plays, that's the role she likes to play, and she's comfortable with it. And I know that through this process, Joan keeps learning a lot of stuff. So,
this is true.
Because she wouldn't go look up all this stuff, and I don't know if you have the time to do it, but because it's part of my life, I pour out of my cup, because it's a way of karmic in the community. It's a way of being a co-contributor of a community that then extends out into a bigger community. So I always feel like I'm a pebble in the pond, and that you never know. I never know who's out there, and what I'm saying and how it may vibrate with you.
Right? Could cause could very likely influence somebody in a very positive way.
Or it could
help
in the
them,
negative.
Right.
So this is what I want to talk about when we're talking about the throat chakra. Because the throat chakra is about communication. It's how do we communicate with one another. And certainly, as we go up the evolutionary chain of our inner chakra world, and as I've said, it plays out into the greater world, and we're seeing it being played out, that once we come up to this, state of consciousness, where now, there's almost a mockery about being woke, and there's a separation, but there's nothing bad about, and don't ever let them bully you into a corner. You know what I'm saying? In other words, if you had a woke experience, then, go with that. And if somebody's trying to demean that and saying, oh, they're woke, look, because there's so many different parallel universes going on. And there's hierarchies and ways that people are moving through this system. And that's why this show, Your Best You, is really about finding your Goldilocks zone. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to hear me say, you know what I'm saying, a lot during this show. And there's a reason why. It's because it's Chakra 5. So when we speak, it's dependent upon, in many ways, a listener. Does the tree make a sound in the forest if it falls and no one's there? Yes, it makes a sound, but is there communication? Is there a listener? So there's all these little nuances around sound. I can make sounds alone and vibrate within myself and around the universe, but it doesn't mean that a person who isn't in the room is going to hear that sound. So the important thing about sound and communication has to do with this fine-tuning of listening. And so everyone always says, I'm a great listener. People are very quick to say that, because it's a sit still, and it doesn't require the articulation of emotional churning or intellectual data, or you can articulate and read, these are the prices for, so when we, you know what I'm saying? See, I'll do it throughout the show. Partly because I'm a tease, and I've used that as a way to lighten the load in life. I'm Irish, so, we have that little kind of inbuilt little humor thing going on in us all the time. And we when we communicate, we may say something, but it's so funny because what we said, the person may hear something else. That's true. I think my primary way of expressing this, and we all know this because we've heard this story before, and a lot of times I'm just rebringing things that you already know. I know you already know it. It's just sometimes we need a little nudge of remembrance. But you know the story of the children in the line passing a tail down.
Right.
And one person says, Joan is wearing blue. and they pass it down to the next person. And Joan is wearing blue doesn't turn out to be Joan is wearing blue.
By the time you get to
By
the
the
end
time
of the line.
to the end of the line, exactly,
Yeah,
the story is completely changed.
Right.
So, did the person who said what they said change, not say it? You know what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? So, one of the ways that we can find out if a person is if we're communicating, and this is a big area of evolvement for us as a whole group. We have continually this process of waking up and then coming down, rebuilding our structure, rebuilding our boundaries, rebuilding what we're in around our home, in our office, or how we're dealing. We rebuild. We get to the passionate area of the second chakra, and we're like ready to get out of the gate, okay? And then we get out of the gate, and now we're in the third chakra. We're like, I'm here. I am. The will, right? And then we start roughing around, and then we realize, whoops, the heart. Oh yeah, that's right. I need to be loving and kind when I'm, putting forth my will, right? And then it's like, well, how do you say it? And are you walking your talk? So this fifth chakra, like all the chakras, and that's why I keep going over them with new concepts, because I never know how what I'm saying is being heard by your ears and received into your frame of knowledge of how you perceive and see things. And that's going to change around even what I say, which could be the most simplest of things. But if you have issues within yourself that can trigger and stir, which is, what opposites are going to do with one another all the time. The gift is then learning how to say, wow, that stirred me up, and I noticed this is going on with me. Did you know that, so that's the communication. I don't think as a culture we're there. I think we know how to communicate data, but I don't think we really know how to communicate emotional intelligence if we even have achieved that point yet. Because we're always kept in this pressure cooker of, no time, nobody has any time. We don't even want to communicate. Heck with communicating, we'll just put it in a text and send it off. Because communicating, and the other part about communicating that I wanted to talk about quickly too, and then we can chat about all of it, but I just wanted to get the little tidbits out, is that, well, of course, there's the silence. Now, some people find that silence is a way to communicate. And it is a way to communicate, except it's a negative way to communicate generally. It's used as a means of control because avoidance, and I'm not going to say anything. Better left unsaid is sometimes a good thing if you're going to go in and, pick at something. But if there's a genuine conversation that's trying to be had, if a person pulls that silent treatment, I think they call it ghosting now, or they got all new terms for it, but it's kind of like you're there, but then you're not there, but then they're watching you, and it's just this kind of weird flow.
It is sort of strange, yeah.
But this is what we're doing. That's why I say, we can't judge ourselves or one another, but be observant of how we're evolving and how this layer right here, and we get blocks, all right, and then we can try clearing it, but then when we get up to 7 again, we come back down and we rebuild on a higher level of frequency every time, or you're going the other way, okay? You're evolving or devolving. You can't stay the same because nothing is the same. Change is a constant. So you're going to go one way or the other.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I'm just giving you some of the
just
stuff
keep building on that's what you'd hope you would do.
Well, yeah, you build a block and you get to the second layer. Now you build a better, you build and you build and you build.
Exactly.
That's how I perceive it. I mean, I'm just sharing like my little kind of pearly wisdom kind of way of how I've evolved through my life, because I'm not the same person that I was. In no way am I the same person.
Yep.
And it's just so interesting to see how it's possible. And anything, I always say, impossible happens daily, and anything that's, possible can be possible, not maybe the same exact thing, but your impossibilities can be possible.
Mm-hmm.
Your impossibilities can be possible. We can make that happen in our life and that's where the magic is. You want me to give you the answer to that. It has something to do with your walk and your talk. I do believe it has to do with how we are with one another and our relationship to whoever brought us here.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And how we're treating where we are, and I think it all lives up together. And I could be wrong and I could be right, but it really doesn't really matter because we don't know now. What we know is the more we know, the less we know. And we also know that when we come into knowing, the ones who are in control and power really have to try to push that back down so that we're back down in the survival, ground level, trying to fight. But the thing about the human being is we have this resilience, and so we do that. So oftentimes you find that people who are in the state of just, oh, I've already achieved, they don't do anything. They're just there. They end up doing a lot of, negative things.
Yeah.
Their life just goes into a decay because they're not trying to do anything. So you get this complacency that just doesn't work.
Yeah, they don't build on the fact that yes, they've reached this high level. They don't keep going.
Well, some do.
Some do.
No,
but some
some
don't.
do. But I'm just saying, you hear stories.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, gosh, as I've said it before and I'll say it again. Oh, look at all those beautiful fancy houses.
Yeah.
Aren't they so beautiful? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, they are. But who knows what's going on behind those closed doors?
Exactly.
And some of the things you hear, you go, I think I'll just stay in my little hovel. I'm safe and I have peace and I'm not going to have someone screaming at me or throwing my stuff. And I'm just saying,
Exactly.
we have this lack of capacity to communicate. And we see it on Facebook. That's one of the communication, dump holes. A lot of stuff gets on there, and they have people that are monitoring it and censoring it. And there's all that going on now too. Trying to control the communications and trying to, make sure that only certain things are brought forward. And this is nothing new under the sun. We humans have been through this, They do this. It's like as soon as humans start to come into awareness, catastrophe comes along and brings them back down. And you'll even hear people say, "Well, you think that you got, I'll get you down to." So our communication is where we're at right now. And we're able to communicate data. We certainly have the capacity to communicate through our technology. The other thing is about communication is that, how much of it is actually verbal and how much of it is nonverbal. You can watch someone, say on a stand giving a testimony. And you may notice that when they're giving a testimony, saying something, their face is twitching and they've got different kind of trying to hold something in, not pouring it out. I move a lot for my audience because I do that so that you're not just seeing me sit here. Cat meditates enough. That nonverbal part of the communication, you start to be able to see by their eyes, by the way that the hands move. You get to pick up a lot of things by nonverbal. So if you don't have that face-to-face approach, which is what we had go through a lot with the masks and the cover-ups, for the young people, that nonverbal communication had to become, it's just a little bit different. We're in this, place where we just took those off, and a lot are wearing them, and there's a lot of, unhidden truths around this whole area, and it will be that way, and we have to deal with that as a race of people as we continue to evolve, because it's really hard to, when you're in it. The best you can do when you're in it is the best you can do. And then, that kind of Monday morning, quarterbacking, or after the game, discussion. We won't have another pandemic. Yeah, well, don't make them. Sorry, but hey, we don't want to talk about it, censor, So, come on, from the same source, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. Shh, don't say anything, Kat. Better left unsaid. You hear what I'm saying? I'll play with you because it's part of the show and it's part of to make it entertaining too.
Exactly.
I don't want to just come and sit
Exactly.
like, I'm giving you just straight data because I can do that, but boring, Kat, I mean, how much of that, we get
Right.
enough of that all the time. So I want you to feel relaxed when you come to the show. It's only a 25-minute show. It goes by really quickly. And if you know what's coming on, or you're home and you're watching it on the YouTubes, or we'll have it on the podcast when you're driving, you can hear me and you can feel me because I incorporate my body into, like that jockey did on the winning horse yesterday.
Oh yeah, wasn't that
Now,
amazing?
did you see how that jockey incorporated his body in those last few seconds on that saddle? I would love to imitate it, but I won't for the show.
Yeah.
But boy, but I saw that. It was like that one little that he added in, that horse just like that. You see, so our body and how our body is, speaks a lot.
He was communicating to that horse with his body.
Well, always they are, but I'm just saying in the very last minute, they stay still for so long because you don't want to move because you're really not trying to interfere. I had horses. I've ridden horses and raised them. You don't want to interfere with that motion of the horse, and he pulled him out of the gate. I'm talking about the Kentucky Derby because I do love horses.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, let me just get back quick. For anyone else, I almost brought my Mama Lilla hat in to wear because I said, oh, post Kentucky Derby, it would have matched my dress, but then I said, oh, maybe another time.
Well, it's purple, so
Well, yeah,
we
so-
have.
I'm thinking, here's the thing about the communication, as I said, and we'll talk about it more, but you do hear what I'm saying. It's different than making a sound, because people say, I hear you, but you're not listening.
Mm.
See, I know you're hearing me, but there's a difference, because listening involves an active exchange with the other. Okay? So if somebody says something and you have nothing to say, it's basically, I've heard, I could say nothing. I could avoid this. I could say a little bit, or I could pick it up.
Yeah.
You have a couple of options, right?
Yeah.
But each one is interpreted, according to the receiver to whom it is being bestowed, because that's what communication is. It involves a speaker and a receiver, and the information is bestowed. To communicate is to impart, to exchange, to bestow, to give, to pass on. And then one has to receive. In order to receive, it's given after it's been communicated, but then it has to be communicated. So how does the communicator know that what they've given is received? Well, as a professor, I would ask my students questions, and they're given examinations, and I get to see, were they listening when I was speaking?
That's true.
Did they take good
Did they-
notes?
Yeah.
Did they do extra work and
Were
find
they-
something
yeah.
that I didn't know and share that with me? Wow, that's a blessing as a professor, right?
Yeah.
So, it's communicating, learning how to communicate. You can go ahead and take a look on the Google about that fifth chakra just to see its sound. That's what it is. It's sound. Fifth chakra is sound. And that's why I said it's not necessarily the part of we're all vibrating and it's all sound all around us. Everything is moving. Sound moves through the vibrational frequencies.
Yeah.
So if you hear someone who's speaking whose vibrational frequency irritates your ear, how long do you listen?
You don't.
Well, unless you have to.
Right.
What if it happens to be your coworker or someone that you have to listen to?
Right.
What if it happens to be the professor of a class? What if, you're going to change, you might have to change the professor. You see, so because in order for you to receive, one has to be able to listen. Not just hear.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of noise all the time, but
Yeah.
I choose what I'm listening to,
Yeah.
There's a lot of white noise everywhere. So. Well, I don't know if there's anything else.
No, I don't. I think
Pretty
you
much.
covered
I mean, there's a
everything.
lot.
There's a lot, but I think you covered the bases quite well.
How does that resonate with you? You know, basically. Well, that's a way to, you know, check in on that. And Joan's wearing the Abilene because that's a kind of a communication color. It's a shell, but it's related to communication. It's helps you to connect with the power of water, so it opens up your communication because, you know, water is communicator. I happen to be a triple water, so I have a lot of communication. And then I wore the malachite, and you know that's from the breastplate. You know, it's the planets of Jupiter and Venus, and since Venus is one of my main planets and Jupiter's in my house right now, I thought I'd wear that. But it improves human connection. So that's what I thought I'd end with. Was, you know, a little bit of the crystal knowledge and the shell, and a lot of knowledge about communicating. And I hope that something that came out did resonate and that you're able to go, oh, wow, yeah, that's right. So it is best to check when we're speaking, ask a question. Like if somebody asks you a question, why are you asking me that question? Should open up the lines of communication.
Right.
If it shuts down the lines of communication, then something's on that end that you're like, well, why would that shut down the line of communication?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, then that's a trigger about something else, that somebody doesn't like to be asked why or whatever, you know. But I think the only way that we really do get to communicate is if we make sure the other person is hearing us, or that, you know, when you're responding back to what they said, this is what I heard you say. Did you say that? Well, I didn't say that exactly. You see, communication takes some time. And if you don't have time, which we live in a culture of no time, then we have no time to communicate. Therefore, I'll send you a one-word text, you know, or a quick email, or, you know, because I'm too busy and I don't have any time. But, you know, this is an important part of who we are, and we want to be a complete, whole, open and able to communicate, not like an infant stumbling and, you know, or, you know, instead of going into a babbling child thing,
Right.
not communicate. Which one? I don't know. They're both basically the same kind of energy in many ways. But that's that for chakra number 5. We'll see you next time. Blessings.
Take care.
Bye.
The Saybrook Fish House in Canton has been serving fresh seafood, chicken, and steak entrees for 34 years, offering 3 cozy dining room settings, a newly renovated pub with craft beer, wine by the glass, specialty cocktails, and a lighter fare menu. Open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. Reservations accepted for parties of 2 to 42, and gift certificates are also available. The Saybrook Fish House, nestled at the crossroads of Route 44, 202, and 179 in Canton.